Let me know when it's live and then I'll start.
It's live now.
Okay, good morning. Welcome those who are attending this meeting. As we haven't got the recipient of this meeting attending this hearing, we will continue without them. Before I move on to the procedures, which will be obviously different as the recipient is not attending, I don't think I need to ask you to introduce. I can introduce all of you myself. I'm Councillor Ahmed, and I shall be chairing the meeting with my colleagues, Councillor Sheetal Manro and Councillor Nigel Sumner. We comprise the today's subcommittee. We've also got Misha Jalil, who is the clerk to the subcommittee and who will also be minuting this meeting. We've also got present Alison Luff, who is the legal advisor to the subcommittee, and we've got Bob Deere, who is the licensing authority's applicant. Now, as I said, in the absence of the recipient, I'll be asking Bob Deere, the applicant, to present the case, and then the panel will ask if there are any questions, and we will then move on to summing up the application and moving to the decision. The committee will retire with the legal advisor and the clerk and make a decision, and the decision will be announced at the end, and it will be confirmed in writing within 5 working days. So without any delay, can I ask Bob Deere to present the case, please?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Committee. Yes, it's an application to review a premises called East European Limited, which is based at 49 Greenfield Avenue, W7 1LL. These premises have been licensed since 2016 under a different name, and when we visited in February, the first visit, the premises was still in the name of that license holder, but it's since been changed. And just for the benefit of the meeting, there has been no further transfer to transfer it from East European Limited, and the company is still live on Companies House. It was checked 2 days ago. I submitted a review on the 2nd of November 2020, following visits to these premises. Blue notice was put on the premises window on the 3rd of November, and a similar one was put in the Cabinet Office at the council, outside the council offices. Also, it was advertised in the Ealing Gazette, and no representation from any other parties were received. This review has come about by visits to the premises by myself, and I went there on the 25th of February 2020 at 1:20 p.m. And there was one female behind the counter. I had previously been to the premises, and it was owned by a Polish woman. Behind the woman who stood behind the counter, I could clearly see bottles of Polish vodka that still had the duty-free stickers on the bottle caps. Also behind the counter shelves were found more bottles of vodka and wine that still had the duty-free labels attached. There was also bottles of Smirnoff vodka that had second labels stuck over the original labels on the rear that was also which were crooked with traces of glue residue around those labels, indicating that were duty diverted. The female stated that all the items had been removed from the shelves by myself, had been purchased from a cash and carry, and that she could and would produce invoices for them. The name of that female was Mrs. Sakina Zemrani. None of the UK duty stickers were on the bottle. I noticed in the upright fridge to the rear of the shop there were several brands of Polish beer with the ABV above the 5.5 permitted by condition 20 of the premises license. None of the beers were price marked, and I gave brands of the cans above 5.5 to the female to remove from the premises immediately. In front of the fridge there were 9 cases of beer on the floor, and this is also a breach of the premises license, condition 22, which was also pointed out. I removed all the bottles from the shelves and placed them in green plastic baskets and placed them behind a display fridge to the rear of the shop, and I explained to the female that I had to go to the van that was parked nearby and get plastic bags to seal the goods up and seize them. Underneath that display fridge I found more bottles of non-duty paid vodka in a plastic carry bag, and in the unit behind I found 13 packets, 260 cigarettes of non-duty paid cigarettes, 2 different brands. So in total I placed 66 bottles of illicit vodka behind that in the plastic baskets. I took photographs of the illicit alcohol and tobacco, and these are in the pack today. I left the shop, as previously explained to the female, and returned 18 minutes later when I found a suitable parking space, and found that the shop had been locked and the female had left. I remained outside the shop until 6:30, so roughly another 3.5 hours, and no one returned to the premises. All the lights had been left on, and the female had obviously left in a hurry. I went back the next morning at 9:15 a.m. With a trading standards officer, and when we entered, there was a man who identified himself as the husband of the female from the day before, Mrs. Zemrani, and he stated that she had in fact was on a course to do a personal license in Hayes. After identifying ourselves and the purpose of our visit, we explained the purpose of our visit, and the man stated that he'd removed all the property that had left there the previous night and destroyed it, as his wife, who was not present, told him that it was illegal and they were unable to sell it. The shelves behind the counter had been restocked, and there were more bottles of Polish vodka with the duty-free labels across the bottle caps could clearly be seen. He was informed that these bottles would be counted, seized, and a receipt given. In total, we seized a 70 cl bottle of Smirnoff vodka, 9 bottles of wine, 50 cl bottles of Polish vodka, 15 20 cl bottles of Polish vodka, 10 cl bottles of Polish vodka, and 50 times 50 ml bottles of Polish vodka, all non-duty paid. In the fridge there was still beer with the ABV about 5.5%, and I took photos of those, and these are in the pack again. And all the property was seized, listed in a receipt book, and it was explained that he would receive for these offences a first and final warning against prosecution will be given. He was also told to transfer the licence, and that he had to stop selling alcohol until he did so. On the 12th of March at 3:10 p.m. we returned and again check for compliance and to inquire why no application had been made to transfer the premises licence and vary the designated premises supervisor. When we entered, the female from the first visit, Mrs. Zemrani, was present behind the counter, and she explained that the reason she had left it on the first visit is because she'd been called to her school as her son had been involved in a fight, and that she returned 30 minutes later and I had gone. We could clearly see duty-free vodka on the shelves again behind her, and she stated they'd been left on my previous visits. There was 9 bottles of vodka 2 smaller bottles of vodka, and they were seized, and that is exhibit RDZ5. When we checked behind the deli counter at the end, we found a dark coloured holdall that contained 42 packets of cigarettes, that's 840, and 3 packets of roll your own tobacco. Behind a curtain in the left-hand corner set of shelves was found a red and white box with initials JBB on. This is identical box to a seizure at other premises where a large quantity was found in similar boxes. And in that box, we found 74 small 10 cl bottles of vodka. That was all non-duty free paid, all duty free paid, sorry, non-duty paid, sorry. Again, still in the fridge, there were 3 brands of beer over that 5.5 condition. No price marking. So, and in front of the fridge, the stack of beers have been reduced by restocking that fridge, but I've also took a picture of that. In total, over the 2 visits, 840 cigarettes, 150 grams of roll your own tobacco, 9 bottles of wine, and 172 bottles of vodka in different sizes were seized. The unpaid duty on the products amounts to over £780. Obviously, if the officer had not been obstructed by the female on his first visit, that had been increased by 66 bottles of vodka and 260 cigarettes. An application to transfer the licence and vary the designated premises from Zabka Limited to Sakina Zamrani was finally received on the 16th of June of 2020, and the licence was issued on July the 1st, 2020. I did serve the papers on the 2nd of November. When I served those papers, an additional bottle, which I've took a picture of, it's in the pack, was found on the shelf, and another 5 bottles were found in the small kitchen area, again, all non-duty paid. And it's my submission to the committee today that the premises licence holder is failing to promote the licence objectives, namely prevention of crime and disorder, and the decision today should be to revoke that licence. And that is my evidence. Thank you.
Thanks, Bob. You have got no witness, obviously. I can't see anybody.
No witnesses, sir, no.
Okay. From my colleagues, any question, Councillor Munro?
Sorry, Chair, no questions, but I mean, I think this is outrageous behaviour, and really, unless we hear any other reason why, I'm not even sure we should retire, because I don't see any other reason why we can't come to a decision very quickly.
Okay, we'll come to that. Councillor Sumner, any question?
No, I thought the evidence was very succinct.
I'm of the same opinion. I've read the whole report as well, and Bob has repeated. And there is no defendant or recipient present. So I do agree what Councillor Munro is saying. I don't think we've got much to discuss on that, as we all have the same sort of opinion. Alison, over to you. Do we retire at this stage or not?
Chair, there's no need for you to retire. You'll need to make clear your reasons for the decision. Obviously, you've heard the evidence from Mr. Dear, and you will have in your minds have considered lesser steps than revocation. But if you're all content that because of the seriousness and repeated nature of the breaches, and taking into account the crime prevention guidance in the guidance, then you may wish, if you're all agreed, that to revoke the license for that reason.
Well, the indication I'm getting from my colleagues is going toward revocation. I think, is that correct, Councillor Munro?
Yeah, Chair. My view is that the instances of repeated law breaking, etc., is such that I think we have to be very, very clear in our determination that we can't allow this sort of conduct to carry on. And I believe we should move towards revoking the license. And the reasons would be that in terms of the 4 principles, crime and disorder is one, and these premises have indulged in crime repeatedly, even after being told and being given a warning. So I think we should move towards revoking their license.
Councillor Sumner, do you think you have the same view?
Yes, I totally agree. In many ways, I'm sorry we've had to leave it for a whole year, but with the COVID pandemic, it's quite understandable. But no, I have nothing more to say. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I agree with my colleagues, and I'm really disappointed to see the behavior of the shopkeeper in this regard. They have not really considered any opportunity or any advice they were given. So I don't see anything less than revocation. So I move toward the decision, and we are revoking the license for these premises, Alison. Reasons, obviously, they have not complied with any licensing objectives, looking at the report. So we are, I'm giving my decision to revoke the license.
Thank you, Chair. In which case, the formal decision will be prepared, and the written notice will be issued within 5 working days.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, committee. Thank you.